Welcome, Funmi, to Carlisle. I have a couple of questions I'd like to ask you before you receive your Honorary Fellowship. And the first one would be how you see the relevance of the work of the University and the Institute for Leadership and Sustainability in relation to the challenges of Africa.
I think that we've come to a stage in the world now when our challenges are the same everywhere, whether it's poverty, whether it's non-inclusivity, whether it's terrorism. So I think that the role of the university in preparing leaders of all sorts from all walks of life for the new realities of the world is key and important. And I think why it's even more important that it's been done in this space is because then you are beginning to foster understanding across cultures, across countries, across boundaries in a way that's more intimate and in a way that's beginning to unpeel the ideas of how do we keep this sustainable over long periods of time, not just in terms of what works for one part of the world, but what works for different parts of the world and what works for the earth itself on which we live. So I think that this is very, very important job. I'm happy to be part of the department's work and of the job that's going on here.
Okay. And the other question we wanted to ask you was, you're a media person yourself.
Yes.
And I guess the role of the media in relation to the leadership challenges that we face, and maybe some reflections on your experience of being a media person in Nigeria and the wider challenges of the media.
I think that we've collapsed the media generally. We've tried to make a media for the world. And when we say media these days, we're thinking about news. Unfortunately, by its very nature, news must bleed to lead. What that does is foster a climate of fear. I think that we're living in a world that's less dangerous than we did in past centuries, or human beings did in past centuries, or even past decades. But it doesn't feel that way because of what you see on the news, not just in terms of the stories that are being reported, but the ways in which they are reported, the ways in which a single story is being forced down the throats of people around the world. So whether it's in the UK, and every time I see it's a fear-driven narrative of, the other against the other, the poor, the single mother, the immigrant. And in Nigeria, for example, it's ethnic, it's the Hausa, it's the Igbo, in several parts of the world, you see the same thing happening because we have decided that we're going to have a media that describes people in caricature. So I think that that's not very wise. The kind of media that I had wanted to go into when I decided I was going to be a journalist was one that recognized its role as the fourth estate of the realm in a democracy, in a system and a structure that is designed to preserve organizations and systems and ways of thinking that will protect human beings and allow them to be fully functional humans. So I think that there's a need to begin to, and I think it will happen because that's only the way of nature. People are already getting tired of it. We have to evolve a new system. Part of it, of course, is the ways in which the media gets paid because of the internet and all of that. It's going to change. It will have to change because it doesn't work as it is. There isn't enough representation. When there's representation, it's very caricaturing and it doesn't go well for us as human beings. I'm thinking and I'm believing that we will change that because if we don't, it will be a little more problematic for us as we go forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right.